Okay, good afternoon or good evening, whenever you're watching this. It's June 3rd, first trading day of June. And May was, well, let's just say it ended with a bang. Thank the good Lord that the market doesn't close at 2:30, because if it closed at 2:30, that would have been a real problem. Instead, we got this big old massive buy program. It looked to me like first thing in the morning, we were going to get a continuation. In fact, I even sent that out in a note. Looks like Friday afternoon's rally is going to get a continuation this morning. And it did for about 5 seconds. I'm joking, but not by much. The stock market ran up right away, and then it just kind of trickled off for, well, for the next few hours, almost 4 hours before it finally hit a bottom. And then it started to do the same thing again, just like it did on Friday, only this is pretty dramatic. Just like it did on Friday, it did essentially the same thing here. And the interesting thing is it started like right at 115. Typically, these buy programs or sell programs for that matter, but the buy programs are the ones that are really seem to be more attention getting, shall we say, because everybody got all lathered up about, oh my gosh, it's Armageddon and everybody's paying attention, and suddenly everything shifts and you kind of wonder what the heck happened. So these buy programs are really important, and typically they'll start like straight down, a half an hour down, or straight up, but sometimes you get straight across. You'll never get like 234. They're always kind of even numbers. So that's what we got again today. But it's really kind of encouraging because once again, we got this just from my drawings from earlier today. Once again, we got a higher intraday high and a higher intraday low. And that's what we want to see. Closing locations are pretty important. And this closed at a real high location relative to where it opened, very, very close to where it opened here. So, and we got a positive day in the market. So this is a really good sign that there's more buying ahead. A lot of things that the market that I kind of care about that the market doesn't really care about. Hence, the things that I care about are things for me to care about, not you, not anybody else. So the market's not really paying attention to some of my worries. Therefore, I don't worry. Now, as long as we get things moving up here, then we can look for some nice moves higher in some of our other stocks. I'm looking at, for example, Domino's Pizza was one that I put on today, and this had been still kind of is, in a squeeze. The Bollinger Bands are less than 5% wide, and I keep track of this type thing in my Stock Watch app, and it really helps me find this stuff. And then I'll just set an alert, and boom, it goes off. I doubt I'm the only guy that does that, but I'm the only guy with the microphone here. So I see this move, and then I'm looking around. This is end of day stuff, so obviously took this during the day, so I didn't know what the final volume bar was going to be. But just by the way it was trading, you could see that it was a high volume day. The thing that really got my attention was Friday's action, and I didn't see this on Friday. My alert went off today, and that's why I looked at this stock. So I don't want you to think I look at everything, because I don't, if only. But so as soon as I look, though, I'm seeing this action here. Heavy volume. This was the highest volume since back here. And then before that, and then it just was almost hit this level. And then prior to that, it was back here. So when you see a skyscraper like this, a red skyscraper is what I call them, with massive volume, that tells you that obviously there's a lot of selling. Then, and that's just looking at this. Then you go up and look at the price action, and what do we see? We don't see this kind of bar where it closes really, really close to the low of the day, like almost at the low of the day. This would be massive selling. Like, okay, the only reason this thing stopped going down was because the closing bell rang. Here, not so much at all. Here, we get a nice move lower, bounce right off the 50-day moving average, and then a rebound up quite a ways from 500 up to close at 508. Not a big percentage gain, but you can see very, very clearly what happened. You don't even need to look at the intraday chart. So this was a big reversal day. And then what happens? So Dan's alert goes off on Monday, boom, and I see this stock right above the 21-day moving average. It took me a bit to get it out. What are you going to do? So anyway, we're in this stock now, and my suggested stop for all you guys that are trading this stuff is like 498.65. I put it just a little bit below the 50-day moving average, assuming this stock keeps going up, and we don't know that it will, but it is, this volatility squeeze has kind of set the stage for that. But as soon as the stock starts going up, then I'm going to want to kind of raise the stop a bit and start protecting the trade. You don't want to do it too quickly, because one thing that we see in this market, because it is kind of volatile, is we could see a retracement here. Stock could pull back, maybe even for a few days. And then hopefully we get this kind of thing. It starts building the right side here. And so you don't want to get into this and then the very next day get shaken out. You take a little loss and then watch the stock go up without you. So I'm going to give this a little more room, but it does have to stay above the 50-day moving average. And so I'm setting it just a little bit below 500 to give it a little bit more wiggle room. So look, that's all I got for you. We had a really, really good session, a good training session this morning. Talked a lot about the semiconductors, NVIDIA. Scott had some really important things to say about Bitcoin. We've got a lot of trades that we're working on now. So if you're not a member, if you haven't subscribed, why don't you go ahead and do that? You get a 14-day trial for probably about what you'd pay for a Big Mac. We'll put it that way. Okay. So you just kind of decide what's important to you, a Big Mac or a 14-day trial for Stock Market Mentor. Okay. And hey, man, if you do that, maybe you'll get some fries. Hard to say.